The San Diego Los Angeles Chargers coming away with this win. This was a pretty straightforward game. Defensive battle for the majority of it, really. Only a handful of plays offensively that really had a true impact on the game. Especially the one throw from Justin Herbert to Ladd McConkey for 58 yards on 3rd and long. I mean, how you even fit that throw in there is crazy. But the Chargers defense obviously just completely swallowed up Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, they literally could not convert a 3rd down. Like, they obviously got a couple stuff near the end of the game that is a little misleading. They were 2 for 11 at one point. They were 0 for 9. I mean, like, they could not convert anything, like literally anything. And some of it was some errant throws by Aaron Rodgers, a couple gifts with the interception and whatnot. But I mean, a lot of it was also the defense, taking away DK, taking away the run game, pressuring Aaron, making Aaron really uncomfortable the whole game. A couple of the errant throws were kind of forced, as Collinsworth pointed out, because of the pressure just constantly on the shoulders of Aaron Rodgers. And of course, for the Chargers, in typical fashion, Justin Herbert getting knocked around plenty of times. 5 sacks, 1 touchdown, a couple carries that he took some hits as well, but nothing too crazy. 5 carries for 19 yards. Vidal playing great, 25 carries for 95 yards. A couple really like key impact runs as well. But Herbert 20 for 33, 220 yards, 6.7 yards per attempt, 90.5 passer rating, continues to really manage just the onslaught of pressure that is coming on to Herbert. And yeah, also plenty of drops to go around as well, especially from Quentin Johnston. Obviously, it was great to see Keenan Allen now be the leading, have the most receptions for San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers. Definitely San Diego in there for sure. And of course, now more injuries for the Chargers adding up as well. The sheer fact that they're even, listen, the Chargers, this is such a game that you could easily lose. That you could easily just be like, we're so banged up. What are we going to do? Even guys that were starting this game can't even finish the game, right? Like, what do you want Justin Herbert to do? If Justin Herbert's box score looked like this, it would make total sense. It would make total sense. Oh, yeah, it makes sense. 16 for 31, 161 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, except double the sacks, and a 50.6 passer rate. Makes total sense. Oh, they couldn't convert any 3rd downs. Like, yeah, makes total sense. Makes total sense. I'm telling you, the heroics of Justin Herbert, even seemingly in like a weird, close defensive game, where things were just, there really wasn't. It was a baseball score, as they joked, as Collinsworth joked. What was it, 3-2 at one point? You had the safety, obviously, on Aaron, and some missed kicks, missed field goals. Just a weird game, but then a dominating time of possession, 37 to 22, 23. Yeah, I just think this was actually a pretty gritty win, because I do think the Steelers are a pretty good team. I don't think they're world beaters. I don't think they're ready to light the league on fire, but we saw what they were able to do against the Colts, and that was because of the Steelers. That wasn't just the Colts just being bad. And I just think when we're looking around the league, when you're seeing what happened to the Buffalo Bills, when you're looking at, it's a little bit different because they had a backup quarterback, but the Washington Commanders, the 49ers against the Los Angeles Rams, there was a lot of uncompetitive games this weekend that just really felt kind of like, this is, what am I watching right now? And a lot of times in football in the NFL, when games really kind of get out of reach, it's so easy to pile on. A lot of times people think that when you score a lot of points, or the score is like 44-7 or something, that it just shows you how dominant you are. But the reality is that once you reach a certain point, the offense for the other team becomes so predictable. The defense can just kind of take your head off. Like it can spiral a lot quicker than I think people honestly ever really give credit for. And so even in like a weirder game like this, where it was close, but like not a lot of points, and some of the points obviously came more on the back end when the game was pretty much already out of reach. But the Chargers were in control of this game the whole time, even when it was 3-2. Like, that's the point that I'm trying to drive home. Like, in a lot of ways in a game like this, especially against a more competitive opponent, Like I'm more impressed by a game like this because the Chargers were in control of a game that the other team could have taken control of. There's some games that, like I said, it just gets broke open so quickly that it's just like you just can't. You could just never regain any type of momentum. You're just on your back foot, and it just becomes impossible. And the Chargers have every reason they have every excuse to be able to do that. They have every excuse just to be able to just roll over or let another team come back. Right? Like if this was a game where the Chargers ended up losing in the fourth quarter because the Steelers were able to get momentum, like you would still easily be able to explain it. You would say, well, Herbert has no time. What do you want him to do? They're not catching the balls, blah, 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 blah. And they don't. They're still able to be competitive. And it's funny because I just keep thinking about how like everyone kept saying, especially on First Things First, like Nick Wright and Brew, and they're like, I'm expecting Herbert to fall off a cliff, and and Nick Wright keeps making fun of Joe Alt and Herbert, and I guess he's the most important player, and blah 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 blah, and it's just like the fact that they're still able to come away with wins like this and be really competitive and control the game, right? Like control the game and not just be fortunate to win, says a lot about this team. It says a lot about this team. Says a lot about the coaching. They are going to need to continue to play better, right? Like I think that the Chiefs are going to be hard. You're still right in the mix of winning this division, especially with considering how the Broncos are playing. And the Chargers also got a gift. I kept looking at it from the perspective of the Jags losing through the perspective of the Chiefs, because it definitely helps the Chiefs more than it helps the Chargers, but it still also gives some breathing room for the Chargers as well. I mean, right now everyone's just right there. The Chiefs are 5-4, the Chargers 7-3, obviously disconnect with the bye. Broncos 8-2, Colts 8-2, and now like with the Jaguars, they easily could be 6-3, which would still be right there with the Chargers. But now you get a little bit of break there. The Steelers obviously just lost. The Ravens are trying to play catch up there, and then you got the Patriots and the Bills. So the Chargers are in the driver's seat right now of at least the wild card, right, at the bare minimum. And I mean, the reality is that they're just a game. They're a game away from being in first place technically, right? Like again, obviously with the buys and the mismatches there, but like they are right there. So if they can continue to build momentum, and if it's possible for them to get healthier as the course of the season unfolds, it is still right there. And obviously, at the very least, the division is still right there. Got another game against the Broncos and the Chiefs. Those are obviously going to be hugely important games, but it is all right there. And so taking care of the Pittsburgh Steelers right now was incredibly important. I mean, you're going up against the Jags, a clearly winnable game. Going up against the Raiders, clearly a winnable game. The Eagles, it's going to be a tough game. That's going to be a fascinating game to figure out, what do you got right now? Yeah, you're winning some games, and there's a real possibility that you beat the Chargers, beat the Raiders, and now you're sitting pretty, right? You have a chunk of wins. You're right there competing for the division and top seed in the AFC. And it's like, okay, but what does that mean? You're going to find out against the Eagles. And whatever answer you get there, you get to have to repeat that answer or change that answer if it's a bad answer against the Chiefs, right? So, and then you're going up against the Cowboys, which at that point, by that week, who knows what the Cowboys are. You got the Texans. Maybe the Texans are fighting for a playoff spot or the division, I mean, who knows? Maybe. And then you're going up against the Broncos, which could be battling for the division. So there's a handful of tough games. The Eagles, definitely a tough game. Chiefs, definitely a tough game. And my gut tells me that Broncos game will probably have some sort of stakes involved, at least for one of the teams. So probably will also end up being a tough game. Probably won't be a game where you can just be like, we can all sit. But maybe you have to kind of continue to see how that math unfolds. And so really the Jags, the Raiders, the Cowboys, and, again, I guess maybe depending on what's the story is with CJ Stroud at that point or what's going on with that Texans team, those are obviously the most winnable games. And like, yeah, it's just the Chargers are in control. The Chargers are absolutely in the driver's seat right now. Even just beating the Chiefs and the Broncos, if you do that, makes, allows you now to leapfrog them, and kind of continue to control your destiny here. So it's a great place for the Chargers. it is a little bit frustrating. It is a little bit bittersweet because I do look at a team like the Chargers and Herbert finding ways to win a game like this and still being able to be competitive. And for me, I just can't help but just think like, oh, what if you were actually fully healthy? What if this team really did actually have an O-line, and at least you had your running back 1 and 2, right? Like you're just like, like what could this team look like right now? So I just think they've shown a ton of heart, and make no mistake about it, a win like this is a pretty nice one. It's a pretty nice one. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Chargers taking down the Pittsburgh Steelers 25-10? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.